G'day, folks! The dream of comfortable living in Toronto is completely dead. This is some of the conclusions that we've come to with this idea that we may perhaps move to Edmonton. And I made some videos discussing this, and a lot of you have intriguing comments that I want to touch base on in this video. I want to talk about average salaries across provinces, the average cost of real estate, what it takes to afford that real estate, some of the tax implications from personal income, and so many more things, while also comparing real estate deals that currently exist on the market. If that is a conversation you can appreciate, in return, I simply ask that you hit this like button because, man, it seems to be a relatively controversial topic. But first and foremost, what I found really intriguing, that the average Canadian annual salary by province, taking the whole province into consideration here, that Alberta, where Edmonton is based, guys, Calgary, is having an annual income on average of about $64,191, which is actually higher than Ontario's average income based off, the data from September of 2021 being at $60,667. So first and foremost, one of the primary reasons I think Alberta is seeing a higher level of annual salaries or just income in general is probably on the oil sector, which died off pretty dramatically, until the pandemic really hit. We saw a slowdown, and then thanks to the geopolitical events, what's going on globally, oil supply, everything has shot up hugely, and I think that drives more jobs to Alberta. But we'll talk about the jobs market in just a second here, guys. Now, I want to keep in mind that for average of Ontario, doesn't take into consideration Toronto specifically, where the average salary a year in Toronto has kind of came out to, based off this average salary survey, of $93,947. Again, this is gross income, but net after tax would bring it down to about $67,000. Now, how much more do you need to earn to buy a home in Canada? Now, this gets very intriguing, and we're going to focus on 2022 here, and I'm not going to look at all the provinces. You guys can pause this, skim through it, and take a look. But what I want to look at is, again, the comparison of what we're looking at, which is Toronto versus Edmonton. And we're going to take a look because up here we have the average home price on the left and the income required, and I'm presuming this is based off the minimum down payment. Now, Edmonton, first and foremost, guys, mind-boggling. Average price of a house, which when I looked it up last time was around $360,000, $380,000. They're claiming here it's worth about $409,000. Which means you'd have to have an annual income with a basic down payment of about $86,770 annually. Toronto, however, you would need to be making $226,000 as a household, because I highly doubt, unless you have a really high-end income job, that you're going to be supporting that mortgage on your own, with the average cost of a house around $1.2 million, but still in staggering numbers here, guys. Take a look at jobs. A lot of you were complaining about jobs. Now, there are more jobs from population density in Toronto, but nonetheless, somebody was saying there's no jobs in it. What are you going to do in Edmonton? Well, first and foremost, construction is exploding there right now. The population is exploding, and the jobs that are available set up 19,142 just on Indeed.com. I was actually skimming through them, and there was a lot of reasonable salary jobs in here, ranging from every sector, whether you're a graphic design artist or, again, you're looking to get into construction or some of the trades. Now, the other interesting thing is the provincial tax rates. Now, this is where things get more convoluted, but will relate to me more personally than perhaps you being an operator of a business and an owner of a corporation, right? So first and foremost, again, fixating on the provinces themselves. In Ontario, there's a 5.05%, and keep in mind, this is just, I believe, the provincial tax, but there's a 5.05% on the first $45,000 made. So as you kind of scale into the average salary between 45 and 60, you're going to see your brackets go up to 9 and 11%, but still on the vast majority of that money, you're only paying 5%. Someone was saying that the taxes are outrageous here. Honestly, go to California, go to a lot of the places in the States, and it's very hard finding comparable states in the US where the taxes are thus favorable, especially property taxes and things like that. I mean, in Ontario, Toronto specifically, I noticed the property taxes are relatively more favorable than Edmonton, but nonetheless, Alberta, guys, you are getting taxed more because they tax 10% on the first 131,000. So your taxation is almost double from a provincial standpoint, which, yes, it hurts when you look at the cost of living. You're paying a little bit more for the income. However, for me personally, being, again, a corporate, running a corporation here, guys, we can actually see that the active business income in Alberta, the general tax rate is actually at 8%, and the small business goes down to 2% here. And just taking a look for Ontario, it's 11.5% and 3.2%, again, with the CCPC, the small business, whatever credits and stuff like that. Anyways, nonetheless here, guys, it's cheaper from a corporate standpoint, especially having a work from home business where I'm not actually required to show up to any physical location, to be inclined that I would actually be saving taxable income living there, whereas my job income that gets fully taxed would actually be a little bit more hindered. So it's kind of a balancing effect depending on your own personal work circumstances. But let's talk about housing itself. Let's take a look at some deals here, guys. The thing that really blows my mind is if you're spending $1 million in Ontario, you're not spending $1 million. You don't feel like you're spending $1 million. So just take a look at some of these new listings, taking a look from about 1 million to 1.2, and just take a look at these. I mean, do these look like $1 million homes to you? I mean, these look like very small. They're 2-bed, 3-bath, or 3-bed, 2-bath. I mean, here's a nice one, 2-bed, 2-bath, not terrible. You know, some of these look like average homes. Like, look at this. Look at this home down on the right here, 4-bed, 2-bath. Let's just take a look at this. This is what $1 million is going to get you in Toronto. So let's just scroll through. Now, it's not, you know, nicely furnished, not a terrible home, but it doesn't look like $1 million home, in my humble opinion. This is something that you're going to have to adjust to, because you've kind of been conditioned to living in this kind of circumstance in Toronto. But let's take a look here, guys. Here's what $1 million home looks like in Edmonton. This, you know, it gets kind of crazy. It gets kind of crazy here. Look at this house. We're talking 6-bed, 3-bath, 6-bed, 4-bath, you know, 4-bed, 5-bath. Let's just pull up one of these homes here. For example, let's just take a look at this guy here. Here's $1 million home. Let's just see the comparable difference, and then I'm going to show you what these even condos look like. I mean, look at this house. Beautiful view. Brand new kitchen, a dining room, gorgeous. I mean, you look at the backyard here, the view's incredible. The bedrooms are massive. Like, look at this stuff going on here. There's a fireplace on the corner, not sure. You know, look at just the space in the corridors here. Like, look at how massive this all is. It's open, it's beautiful, and you just feel like you're spending $1 million. Whereas, like, take a look at this. Okay, so this is an Edmonton condo. Look at the first viewing we see of this condo. Massive open, all glass. You know, this thing's probably 1,400 plus square feet. I wouldn't be surprised. We're not going to get too into the math, but I mean, just take a look at this. It looks fully refurnished. The bathrooms are gorgeous. Everything is nice. This is like a penthouse top floor condo, right? And just take a look at the starting video here. Like, it just looks incredible even from the clip art. Right now, let's compare it to Toronto. First and foremost, guys, it's about $50,000 more, and just take a look. It looks really kind of outdated wood finish here. You know, you don't get the same view right off the start. I mean, the living room is super small. I wouldn't be surprised if this is maybe 800 square feet, 1,000 if we're pushing it here. I mean, there's no real view to it. Yeah, we get a pool, like you get some amenities here, but you take a look at the opening picture here. Look at this. This is what $1 million condo looks like in Toronto. This is what $1 million condo looks like in Edmonton. It is like night and day difference. So let's talk about rent. Let's use rent as an example here as well, guys. This is another mind-blowing thing. So for comfortable living, I'd say you need about 2-bed, 2-bath, right? So just based off the top searches on rentals.ca here for 2-bed, 2-bath in Toronto, guys, you can see that from a 1 to 3 bed in this condo here, they start from $2,400 to about $5,000. I can see that we'd be spending around $3,200 in the 3,000s roughly, probably to get something comfortable in Toronto. And again, look at that. At max, if you're spending $5,000, you're getting like 1,200 square feet. And at minimum, you're getting 495. And that'd probably be 1 bed, 1 bath sort of a situation. But just think about that. Even 1 bed, 1 bath, 2,400 at minimum for somewhere in this general vicinity. Now let's just take a look at Edmonton here. And Edmonton's a lot smaller, obviously, but just take a look at this. So immediately 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,000 to 1,200 square feet, starting at 1,500 to 1,600 monthly. You know how insane that is in comparison? Like, look at these apartments out here. This is right near the Edmonton Mall, by the way, and you can just take a look at something like this, and maybe we'll just scroll through one of these real quick. So, you know, this one's 1,000 to 1,200. I mean, let's just take a general scale of this. This looks pretty nice. I think those are the amenities. Let's see the actual apartment here. So it looks, yeah, like a standard apartment, 2-bed, 2-bath, but you have to understand that this price is almost a third as much. You could afford to rent this place out and have money left over to not only fly to Toronto and back every single month, but still have money left over after doing so. I mean, you can catch flights to Toronto and back for like $400 or $500. I mean, you know how insane this is? Like, this is the standard of living difference from every aspect. This really takes into perspective how far your money goes from $1 million spent in Ontario and $1 million spent in Edmonton or Alberta. And I want to pass that question off to you. I'd love to know what you think about this topic in that comment section below, but stay cool, stay awesome. And as always, I look forward to catching you in the next one.